Hello, yes, it's Joe here for Joyrider TV, and yes, we're going to take a look at how we can make it easier to hoist your Hobie 16 or 14, perhaps 15, maybe even Pacific mainsail. Let's have a look. Okay, so my first recommendation here is, this is going to throw some people, but first recommendation is put the mainsail up before the jib. That way you haven't got the jib whacking you in the back of the head or being in the way while you're pulling the mainsail up. Second one is positioning the mainsail on the boat. If you just have a small amount of overlap over the front beam, that's going to put the sail in the right spot to make it as easy as possible to go into the mast. And then this is the biggest game changer, is get the bolt rope of the sail wet before hoisting. This is also a good opportunity to wash the whole sail, especially if you're sailing in salt water. If you don't wash the sail occasionally, you'll get an accumulation of salt on the sail, which could degrade the cloth. Now, of course, you may not have a hose pipe handy where your boat is. So what you could do is, if you take a spray bottle, fill it with water, and then you can just spray the bolt rope of the sail. The water works really well as a lubricant as long as you hoist the sail immediately after you've got it wet. Of course, making sure that there's nothing obscuring the main halyard is a good idea. And then from this position, close to the front beam, we can feed the sail in and pull it up at the same time. Now, another thing that is really important is to make sure that the boat is pointing directly into the wind, so that the mast and the sail and the wind are all in a straight line. That way it's going to make it so much easier to pull the sail up. And then as we're pulling it up, we're just pulling the bolt rope slightly forwards of the mast, just so that it's not going to jam as it's going up. To be able to grip the rope, I'm just putting one wrap around my hand here. This is a personal preference on the hoist. And then we're almost at the top, and as we get towards the top it can get a little bit tight. So if it's getting tight here, if you are doing this on your own, it's a little bit more tricky, but you can do it. We'll just put a hand either side of the sail, push it up, and then we'll pull up the slack just there. Okay, and then to lock the sail in, what we're going to do is go slightly further forwards, and we're going to give the halyard a really good powerful tug, so that we can really feel the sail hit the top of the mast. There she goes. And then we're just going to walk the halyard into the middle of the mast, give the sail a pull down, and there we know the sail is hooked in correctly. One last finishing top touch we can do, and this is also a good tip, this will help to stop your jib battens catching on the main halyard, is we'll take the main halyard round behind the trapeze wires, and then we'll just cleat that off there. Okay, so there we are. The sail is up. That was pretty easy. Of course, some sails are going to be slightly more difficult, and like with a lot of this rigging and anything actually, it is easier if you can recruit somebody to give you a hand, but a lot of the time you'll find yourself having to do this on your own. But the biggest point here is get the sail wet before you hoist it, and it is so much easier, really. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this has been useful. There'll be more coming up soon on Joyrider TV. If you sail a Tiger, FX1, Hobie Fox, or anything that uses the hook on the top of the sail, then do check out the video on how to hoist that sort of sail more easily. There'll be another video on the Hobie 18 style coming up shortly. Other than that, there'll be more stuff coming up every day on Joyrider TV, so do subscribe if you're not yet subscribed, and thank you very much.